So Netflix recently released this TV show, How to Become a Tyrant. And while watching it, I thought this is more historical edutainment rather than something applicable to contemporary issues. However, there's a real threat out there that they should have been talking about, and that is not the Tyrant's playbook, but the Populist Playbook. So what we have put together is an actual playbook of how the populists come to power. And once we understand that, we see that they actually transform liberal democracy to authoritarian rule. To understand the populist playbook, we have to understand where populism can emerge. Because populism cannot emerge in isolation. It always comes out of liberal democratic structures or transitional democracy. So how did they do it? Well, the first step in the populist playbook is to surface the common grievance of the time. And that can differ from society to society. Because in some societies, at one point it is about migration. At another point it's about modernization. And at another point, it is about economic reform. All of these things are part of the populist playbook. There's not one common theme that you have to be anti-migration, for example. It's rather the fact that populists are very good at spotting the current cleavage in society, where there's a topic that maybe the common political elites are not talking about, and that they can surface and bring forward. So that's the first step. Find the cleavage, the social conflict, the tension in society, and resurface it. Own it. Think here about Donald Trump and migration. Think about it when it comes to Bernie Sanders and the financial crisis, or Modi when it comes to economic reform. So that's step one. Step two is then to polarize society along those lines and to separate the people into the good people and the bad people. The good people are those that don't only support your cause, but those who want to solve that particular problem. And the bad people are those who not only oppose you, but those who want that problem to maintain and sustain in society. So those who want to keep the fire burning, so to speak. And once you have polarized society, you then can go to step three, where you are emerging as the leader and savior figure of the good people. Then you have positioned yourself, the conflict is there, you have polarized society, and you emerge as a populist, as the savior of the good people who will lead them towards either a grandeur of the past or a brighter future. So these are the three quintessential steps before you enter into maybe the most important part, namely step four. Win the elections by all means. This is where we enter the political game. Before, step 1 to 3 is before the elections. Step 4 is you win the elections by all means. And really by all means. Here, for the populist, everything is permissible. You can take down your opponents, you can lie, you can do whatever you want, as long as you win by the smallest coalition possible, the election. Because once the populist has won the election, we are moving to step 5. And then things get not only very political, but also very tricky and long-lasting. Because here, the process of institutional transformation starts. Step 5 is you use your momentum, the first 100 days in office, to fundamentally transform the laws of society. You do electoral reform, like in Hungary, you do economic reform, such as in India, or any sort of other reform that comes to your mind. Donald Trump, for example, understood this very well. That's why he wanted to pass the so-called Muslim ban in the first couple of days of his term. Because he wanted to use the momentum to pass crucial reform, to please his followers, but also to already start the process of institutional decay. And this institutional transformation is at the very heart of the populist playbook. Because steps 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all about how institutions are undermined from the power center itself. Step 6, for example, is about attacking one of the most vital walls of institutional security in liberal democracy, the rule of law. In step 6, the populists are stacking the courts with their own people. They replace independent judiciary with loyalists, such as we have seen in Poland or Hungary. This is a crucial step to go after the strongest institution in a liberal democracy. In step 7 then, you go after the media and you try to control the truth. Because if there is something like truth, there's discourse, there's opposing views, but in your goal to streamline society, you remove the discussion about truth and instead you want to control the narrative. Again, another of those important firewalls against authoritarianism in liberal democracy that the populists want to take down. In step 8, you go after political dissidents and civil society. After having attacked and undermined the rule of law, and after your attempts to control the media, you now go after all dissenting voices in the civil and political space. That's where you persecute opposing views, shut down NGOs that are of other positions, or introduce something that many of you are familiar with, the so-called foreign agent law, where you introduce the legal tools to basically defund those organizations who are critical towards your regime. In the last step then, step 9, you don't only consolidate political power, but you consolidate also economic power. You create what is called a kleptocracy, where all actors in the political economy are dependent on you. So you change from a competitive free market economy to an oligarchic kleptocracy, where you put your loyalists into key functions of state-operated businesses. We have seen, of course, where this leads to in the country of Russia, and that's what many populists are aspiring to. And that's the completion of the system of institutional transformation. Once the populists come into power, after step 4, with step 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they consolidate power. And that pushes them very close to the Netflix show of the Tyrant. Because the last step, step 10 for the populists, is the full transformation of a liberal or transitional democracy to authoritarianism. Because step 10, where it is about the creation of a personality cult. And where this leads to, you can see in the Netflix show How to Become a Tyrant. But what is important is that this is not historical edutainment, but these are real-world threats. The populists play the playbook to transform liberal democracy to authoritarianism. And that's a real threat and not just a TV show.